Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Miser's Guide to Evony. In today's video, we are going to be talking about Keep 31. Now, before I get started with this, I will say that in the previous video, the Keep 30 video, I did talk a lot about getting ready for Keep 31 and spending a lot more time at Keep 30, building up your resource production and so on. So if you haven't done those things, I would highly recommend considering doing those because Keep 31 to 35 is going to be a long, heavy stretch, and the earlier you work on your economy, the better. So definitely take a look at those. You could take a look at the State of Archetype as well, and all of the things that I talked about in State of Archetype I have accomplished already at this point, so Archetype is ready for the run to 35. All right, so Keep 31. We'll talk about the required buildings and resource costs. We'll talk about the unlocked buildings and features at Keep 31. We will think ahead to Keep 32 and beyond, and I'll give you general recommendations and commentary for this stage of development. So the building requirements for Keep 31, unsurprisingly, since Keep 30 had quite a bit more to it, they're not crazy or anything. All you have to worry about is Walls 30. If you look at the resource requirements, though, they do start to increase quite a bit. We're getting closer to the billions. If we just look at the keep alone, we have 540 million or so food that's going to be required, 670 million wood, about 700 million stone, and 710 million ore. It's a pretty big number so far. And then if you add in the Walls 30, which is another high cost building, then you have 880 million food, and we're into the billions. 1.1, 1.145, 1.163 billion of the other three resources. It's getting very steep, and it's only going to continue to increase. The buildings that are unlocked, the features that are unlocked, I mean, there's not a whole lot. We had a lot at Keep 30, Keep 31, unsurprisingly, just like the requirements, it's not too steep. There's not too much crazy stuff happening. It's very basic. There's really nothing going on. But when we get to Keep 35, there will be a lot to talk about. So no buildings, no features of note. All right. Thinking ahead to future keep levels. So this should help prepare you for whatever buildings you need to start considering building up. You've already been working on your economy, and I always say it's a great idea to work on your academy as well to keep the research flowing. Some of those really good research are unlocked as you go, so make sure that you do keep up with that. But here are the requirements for future keep levels. We have Rally Spot 31, which will come with the hidden requirement of Army Camp 31. These are going to be required for Keep 32. That's the next one we're going to be looking at. Art Hall 32 is going to be required for Keep 33. The nice thing about that being a requirement, I mean, it's not a great building, but if you've been doing a lot of bosses, you've been collecting those treasure chests and so on, and bringing that Art Hall up will allow you to collect some of the rewards as you go. So Art Hall 32, I didn't finish, is for Keep 33. And then when we look at Keep 34, we have Research Factory 33, which has a hidden requirement of Hospital 33. And then finally, for the big one, Keep 35, we are going to be requiring Academy 34, which is something we'd already do anyway, just because. All right, recommendations and commentary. If you haven't already, try to build up a general that you can use as a duty officer for Academy and for the Keep. You just throw them on before you do big research or before you do a build, and it will decrease the time required for whichever one you're doing. Now, I chose to go with Queen Jindiok since I didn't really have on Archetype any wall general or PvP general I really wanted to work on just yet. And Queen Jindiok, I needed to work on her politics anyway because she needed to have max politics to get better resource gathering speed. So I was like, okay, let me just choose a Queen Jindiok for now and also raise the leadership up. So I was able to very easily get a Queen Jindiok that could fit into the medium role of duty officer for the Keep, which works out just fine. It's all I need for now, but eventually I'm going to want to increase that to a senior and eventually a special. If you haven't already, also try to grab some green or better Chinese subordinate cities. This will really help with your passive resource gain. All those in-city tiles, they'll have increased production, which is excellent, especially if you've worked on the economy like I have said that you should. It's also okay to get some Korean subs, and that will increase your gathering speed. I just think that for growth, Chinese are going to be more effective, just because you probably haven't worked on refining all your gear for gathering and so on, and it's probably very basic. But it's not that Korean is bad. Korean is probably better in the very, very, very long term if you're going to be gathering spec. But right now, with the growth that you have, Chinese is probably going to be more realistically effective. And you know what? It's really helpful too if you're away for longer stretches of time, because you can just not have to worry about not collecting resources, right? Your in-city is always going to be working as long as you click it once every 12 hours. So definitely consider doing that. I did mention in the previous video that relics are a great idea, and that continues to be true, especially in the stretch of days between two different events when there are fewer bosses and so on. Relics are great. Some differences though. Recently, Evony decided to take a lot of the generals that you could only get in relics, which were really exciting for relics, but they decided to put them in the tavern. A bunch of players asked for better generals in the tavern to mix it up a bit. So they took away the ones from the relics that were also available and put them in the tavern, rather than just put some of the other ones that are unavailable in the tavern. Yeah, exactly. Not very nice. So now the value of relics has gone down a bit, but they're still good. They're still worthwhile to do if you have times that you will be away from the game and so on. Now, another thing to consider is in the long term, you want to find some generals for PvP and for the wall. You're not going to use them immediately, but you do want to consider getting some along the way when they do become available. So do some research into that and find out what you would like. That's about it. So I want to say thank you to all the channel members for supporting Miser's Guide to Evony, and if you do want to become a member and receive membership perks, then you can click on the join button or follow the link in the video description. Also, feel free to join the Miser's Guide to Evony Discord, subscribe to the channel, like the video, whatever works for you. I appreciate it all. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.